All
Can we
right.
talk about one thing real quick,
Sure.
brother? Did you see the interception that was called a pick, right? What game was it?
I
It
don't
should have
remember,
been
but I
Big
think I know what
Bear.
you're talking about. They called it a pick and then
Oh,
they overturned it or something.
no, no, no. They said it wasn't a pick because when you watch it, it was definitely not. But then they slowed it down in instant replay, and it was just the worst call I ever saw. I think it was the Colts game.
Mm.
I wanted to talk about that. It's like, how can everybody see one thing and then the refs call it another way? And
Oh,
it
I
seems
do.
like
Like he caught it and he was falling backward, right?
he's falling, he never really had it, and then he let it go. Yeah, he's
And
falling
then they called it
backwards.
an
Yeah,
interception. I did see that because I had that game on. I'm glad you
that
mentioned
was
Indianapolis
wild.
because I had that game on, but I didn't have the sound on, and I saw it, and I'm like, nah, they're not gonna keep that an
I
interception.
know.
And it's like
I know.
he had a grip on one, and then like a hand on the other one, but like a reverse paw or something on it. It fell down, it popped out, and they called it an interception. It was wild, man.
Yeah, it was so wild, man. These calls, that happens. I think it's happened less this year than last year.
Maybe.
Remember last, remember last year? It seemed like every week there was some type of call that like was controversial, and we couldn't get it right for some reason. And I haven't seen a lot of that this year. That's just my own
I think
experience.
I think the reason this year is because they didn't make the pass interference reviewable this year.
Okay,
So like we're
okay,
seeing less of that, but I think my beef has always been, especially with Al Riveron, who I think is the worst head of NFL officiating in the history of the league.
yeah, you hate him.
I cannot stand the guy because it's inconsistent. It's week to week. And so to me, I don't know. There's two thoughts. If you're a conspiracy theorist, then you think that he just has it out for teams and he just doesn't like teams, so he'll go the other way if it's close. But really, I just think he's just a loose cannon. And that's why I always say he's out there with a magic 8 ball, shaking it up and saying, is it pass interference or not? Or is it an interception or not? Because,
Yeah, yeah.
you know, and I always go back, the one that really gets me, because look, I've been watching football a long time. You have. I can see it instantly. Is it a catcher or not when they slow it down? And I'm not saying like I'm great or anything like that. It's just that I've been watching officiating and you know the rules. And if it's
Right.
anything hairy and it's been called on one thing on the field, it's not going to be overturned and blah, blah, blah. But what really pisses me off about Al Riveron is the Super Bowl, the New England Patriots versus the Philadelphia Eagles. And I don't like either team. And in fact, maybe I was a little ticked because I had money on the Patriots that time, but that long touchdown pass to Alshon Jeffrey, he catches the ball, goes to the ground. The ball moves when he hits the ground. All season long,
Yeah.
that was an incomplete pass. You see it there, you're like, okay, incomplete pass, textbook for that season.
Right.
And they called a touchdown. And you're like, what? What? Where did that one come from? And then it's that over and over again with Al Riveron. And the Super Bowl was the big stage, but it's every week. And, I watch the games, I watch 3 games at a time. There have been times, because all reviews go to New York now, there have been times where I'll see an incompletion or whatever on one screen, and then the same exact scenario on my second screen, and one will be a completion and one will be an overturn. Both called on. It's not
I know.
stances called. I'm
Same
talking.
thing. Same
One will
thing.
be
I know.
overturned. One won't. Same scenario. Same thing. And I'm talking about in real time, 30 seconds from each other. One's an incompletion. One's not. And when
Yeah.
you watch like a bunch of games at the same time, maybe it's a little bit it jumps out at you. And I'm not talking about red zone where they jump. I'm literally watching 2 screens at one time, seeing a review over here, a review over here, and one goes one way, one goes the other way, and you're like, what in the hell is going on? That's Al
Well,
Riveron. He sucks.
I know.
He's
Well,
awful.
here this begs a question, right? Is there some type of human, what would be the word, interpretation that's necessary for these calls, right? Like in basketball, that's basically all it is,
Hmm.
right? It's really nothing more than the opinion of the referee at the time.
Yeah.
Often. I mean, many, many times a game.
Yeah.
And is that unavoidable?
Well, but that's
And
why they
we'd like
central.
that.
That's why
Yeah,
they
go.
bring everything into New York now, so that they
I
take
know.
that out of it.
They'd like to remove that, right? So we spoke about this weeks ago, I think,
Yeah.
man. Like if there's ever a call, they should get a committee of 7 people, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Obviously, this isn't
The NFL
the
Supreme
answer.
Court.
The NFL Supreme Court, right? You
Yeah.
got Ironhead Hayward on there. You got Dion, right? All
3 defensive
personalities.
players, 3
Yeah.
offensive players, and a
Dude,
kicker.
all great personalities, so you can't get mad at them ever.
Yeah.
Icky Woods, and I don't know. There's 7 of them, and then they vote, and it's like
Listen, anything
majority.
anything would be better than Al Riveron. Anything would be better than him.
Yeah.
When Dean Blandino went to Fox, ugh. And the reason, if you're nobody follows this stuff, so nobody probably remembers. But the reason that the NFL hired Riveron is because they thought he would be better in the press, not because he's the best referee. They thought he would be the most able to handle the press duties of that job, not because he can interpret the rules, because he can't. He sucks, man. He sucks.
Yeah. You have a vendetta for him.
Gosh, he's awful. All I want is it's NFL officiating, man. All I want is consistency. Like, I'm fine when it goes from regular season and, you can rough people up, or I'm sorry, you can't rough people up. You can't even breathe on somebody if you're a defensive back in the regular season. And then you can maul people in the postseason. I'm okay with that because it's like, it's an adjustment, but you know what to expect. That's why Bill Belichick, like, he always tells his cornerbacks to be, just to maul people because they're unlikely to throw pass interference if you're mauling people in the playoffs because it's such a heightened thing, and the officials don't want it. They'll swallow the flags. And I'm not saying that as a detriment to Bill Belichick. I mean, he's right. As a tactician and a strategist, he understands that there's a difference there. I'm fine with that. But when you're talking about apples to apples comparison, Riveron is all over the map, and that's the exact worst thing to do, or worst thing to have in the NFL. I can't stand that guy.
Yeah, right. It's getting worse. That's the thing.
It is getting worse. Nobody knows what to do anymore.
Nobody.
It sucks. And I don't understand why. Look, Brad, for years we've been watching the guy runs a slant, gets his hands on the ball, gets one or two steps, gets hit, the ball flies out, and it's always like, I don't know, is it that?
Yeah.
Why can't we just say if he has the ball in both hands and he gets 3 steps down, it's a catch? Let's just say that. No football move.
Yeah.
Did he do that?
Steps.
Did he do that? If he gets 3 feet on the ground or 2 feet in the hands before the ball jostles out, it's a catch. Why can't we put that in the rule book? Is that so damn complicated?
I don't know. It must be because we knew what a catch was for 70 years. And then all of a sudden, Calvin Johnson catches the ball in the end zone, gets up and tosses it.
Which I'm sorry, that's a catch.
That's a catch, man.
It's a catch. That Calvin Johnson one, it absolutely catch.
That started it all, right?
It did.
And the bugger, the thing is that he didn't lose the ball because somebody hit it out. Mm-hmm. Like, he lost the ball because he knew he caught it, and then he tossed it up, if I'm remembering it correctly.
Well, he rolled over and he kind of slammed it. It was like a spike, but he put it on the ground and got up.
It was a celebration. Because he had caught it and he was celebrating, and up until then, everybody knew that's how it went down.
And that Dez Bryant versus the Packers thing, look, that in the rules and in the Calvin Johnson rules, it's not a catch. So I'm not saying the Dez Bryant was a catch, but realistically, guys, that's a catch. He caught the ball and he heaved forward. The ball can't.
Right. Realistically, it's a catch. According to the rules, it
wasn't.
Not. Right. That's the thing. He definitely caught it, but not according to the rules.
And the rules are stupid. Like, I'll tell you, talking about inconsistency, the ground can't cause a fumble, right? If you're a runner, the ground can't cause a fumble, but it can cause an incomplete pass if you have 2 steps down and you're diving. Just look, make it 3 steps or 2 feet. 3 feet. Even if you're tucking the ball away, if you have the ball, you get 3 feet down in the process of tucking the ball away. It's a catch. Then you can measure it. You get 2 feet and a hand down. Like, if you're diving, 2 feet and a hand. It's a catch.
Yeah. And you know what's weird is
football
sometimes,
move.
And I think this happened on the play we opened talking about, is in real time you watch it and it's like, oh, there's no doubt about it. But if you can slow these things down to like a microscopic level, it looks different.
It does.
It is different, right? The behavior of the ball and the movements of the arm are actually acting in a different manner, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
But when the whole thing is in real time, you clearly see he didn't have complete control and bring the thing down. Mm-hmm. It's kind of a mismatch, and I don't know. I just don't want to see it get worse. It was one of the worst calls I ever saw.
Yeah, it happens. It happens probably every other week. We talk about the worst call we ever saw, but it happens all the time.
You're right. And maybe we just avoided the topic on this podcast. But...
Yeah. Anyway.